I think that was the right button.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Hello, everybody. Good to
Hey
see you
guys.
all. Who we got in here? We got Tack, 5th of November, Leah Bryson, Sarah Gray, Harry Grace, Dave G.
Oh, that's loud.
Yeah, I have my phone right next to the mic. I will move it.
Oh,
Oh, Harry Grace, thanks for becoming a member, dude.
sorry, babe.
Mm.
Hey, Harry.
We also had Nelly FDZ became a member too. Thank you very much, Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly. Hello, Karen
Hey,
Collins.
Dave G. Hey, Karen.
So I'm gonna put the link. Hey, Jenny. Cindy J. Hello. So I'll put the link in
Claire
the side
Bear.
chat. Hey, Claire. If anyone has insights on the Christian Andreacchio case and you want to share them, the link is in the side chat. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Jessica.
Hey, Jenny. I can't wait till Tammy Ayo gets in here. And Tammy Collins.
Mm-hmm.
Claire Bear, it's been a while. How are you? Hey,
No, I hope
Cheryl.
everyone's doing good. Where is the thing? Oop. There we go. Oh, another case of the Mondays.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll get underway pretty soon. Just wait for a few more people to show up and then we'll start. Not that there's really anything new. There was something new with this case. Something about one of the investigators being recusing
Oh, yeah.
themselves or something.
Let me
I don't.
send you the tweets, babe.
Okay. Hey, Ozark. Oh, it's good timing, hey? Just heard about the case last night. Yeah, it doesn't have the reach that the Watts case has, but this is still this case is a pretty big deal. There's a lot of weird stuff, and I got questions. Holly Heath, hello. Ah, Harry. Thanks, dude. First super chat of the night. Harry Grace coming in strong with a $1.99. I love it. Thanks, Ozark. It's it's been 11 months, almost to the day.
All right, there's one, babe. Love you too, Harry. Hey, Holly. Sorry, Jenny.
Mm. Beep, beep. Billy, what's up, dude? How you been, man?
I sent you one tweet. I'm still looking through some because she said
Well,
a
that
bunch
was the
in the
one I
last.
was thinking of. I just didn't know who it was
Okay.
and all that. So, all right. So I might as well give a quick rundown of this case for people who may not know what it is. Hey, David BMX 1. Hey. So yeah, Christian Andreacchio, a young man who died. Some believe it was self-harm, some believe it was murder, and as with all these true crime cases, there are questions on both sides. But yeah, it seems the majority of people believe he was murdered, but there is a fairly big camp that believe it was self-harm. And yeah, we're just going to go over some things and talk about why we think the way we think and questions we have. If you guys have questions, ask away. If you have any insights into this case and you would like to share them, I will put the link in the side chat right there. Click that link and come on up.
If my beautiful friend Critical K is listening, she can sure come on up.
Anybody's welcome. I mean, it doesn't matter if you believe he was murdered, if you believe it was suicide, like whatever your belief is doesn't matter. Remember, this is the Voice of Reason channel. This isn't I'm going to hammer my point into you and I'll block you if you disagree. All opinions are welcome. Hey, Crazy Mama.
Crazy Mama. Absolutely, Ozark. There should have been. It shouldn't have been wrapped up in 45 minutes, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Listening in and out.
And it does seem like law enforcement, like once they made that decision, they kind of did everything they could to stay on that side of the fence. And I'll give you an example here. I'm going through some of the notes. The case was presented to the Lauderdale Grand Jury October 30th, 2017. The Grand Jury returned a no bill. The Andreacchios requested a meeting. A meeting was arranged with Mrs. Andreacchio for November 13th at 9 o'clock. November 13th, Todd Andreacchio and a private investigator, Max Hayes, came to the office. Ray was not present. Investigator Wade informed them that the meeting was arranged for he and his wife, but not others, so the meeting was refused. Now, if you ask me, that's just in very poor taste.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have parents that are struggling, they want answers, and then just because it was his wife and not him, you're going to refuse the meeting? Like, that's just terrible.
Actually, I know why Ray didn't go to that meeting. I think it's the time where Whitley was also there. Whitley and Dylan were also there. And she said that if she was in front of them, like she couldn't handle it. But she had told her husband to take the phone from Whitley. Whitley was at the police station and they didn't take Christian's phone from her or even ask her for it or anything. It took Whitley on her way out of the police station. It took Ray's husband to get it from Whitley. Why wouldn't the police station check that or ask her for it or something? Why did she have it? Why did Ray's husband have to get it back from her and not the police? It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, Voice for the Voiceless. I guess I mispronounced his name. Is it Andreacchio, not Andreacchio? Because I've heard both. And yeah, I don't know all there is to know about this case. But if you want to come up and demonstrate your prowess on it, by all means, there's the link. Hey, Mickey J.
Hey, Mickey.
Yeah, Ozark Oracle. It is odd. His friend went to the credit union with his card, take all the money out of his account. Apparently, that was at Christian's request, but I don't know. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Hey, Cotton Candy.
Cotton candy boobs. Crazy mama, yeah. It's okay.
Hello, Billy.
Hey, you guys, I'll be right back.
All right, we'll be right here.
I came here just to leave you with this beautiful mannequin butt.
I do like that. It's shiny. Hey, Catherine. And Voice for the Voiceless. This isn't a witch hunt. We're just discussing things. If you don't like it, leave.
Yeah, if you don't like this beautiful mannequin butt that I have for you,
Yeah.
then you don't have to look at it. Look how juicy. It's actually really hard and empty and filled with foam, but it doesn't appear so. Look at that.
No, it looks pretty nice if you ask me.
It appears to be something very impressive. Better than you, guy that talks shit, whoever you are, dummy, stupid. Sorry, am I causing controversy?
It's all about controversy. It's in the text messages sent from Christian's phone. He did ask Dylan to take the money out. There's proof in the text messages and phone calls. Jem,
Yeah,
would you
the
please,
text messages that Whitley sent. The text messages Whitley sent from Christian's phone. Come on. Get real.
Yeah, if he was there, if there were three of them were in the apartment, why the hell was he texting him?
Christian was dead hours before that 911 call was made. They had Christian's phone for several hours pretending that he was alive. Come on, people. That was Whitley and fucking Dylan texting from his phone.
All this
Hello, Alexis.
controversy over murder and shit and cases and stuff shows me how truly flawed the American justice system is. We should kind of have this nailed down somehow. I mean, think about this. We can take a particle and transform it or transport it to the other side of the country while that particle still exists. So it's existing in two different times and it's instantly fucking transported, right? We do that. We do that every day to practice. But we can't figure out who the fuck killed who.
No, we know who killed him. We know, but for some reason...
Well, I mean, they would be in jail, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they be in prison and everything be done? Or are they?
No. Unfortunately, Mississippi is very corrupt. And there's a lot of cases that are with young adults that shouldn't have been labeled as suicide. They just like to wrap up cases quickly, and everything's a suicide. Like the
I
one
feel
girl.
that too.
Yeah,
I
can't.
We've all been that person that's like cleaning up the trash or making the Subway sandwiches or whatever, and we're like, "You want oregano, Parmesan oregano?" And we put parsley on it and say, "Fuck it," because we can't find the Parmesan oregano. And cops do the same thing. They're just like, "Oh, fucking get that guy to confess. I want out of this case. We need to move on." That happens a lot.
Thanks, Cotton.
They don't want to spend the manpower and all the money into an actual investigation, and the time and the money that actually goes into that. That's what people don't understand. If they can wrap it up and say it's something and just honestly less paperwork, that's what they're going to do in small towns like Christian was murdered in. And same town, this girl, she committed suicide, but she had her purse with her and she tied herself with her shoelace at her mailbox. If you're committing suicide 9 times out of 10, it's more private than that. And you're not going to have your purse and your cell phone with you at your knees, at your mailbox in your front yard. That's crazy.
I agree. Some things don't add up. Like, that's the only reason I give people the benefit of the doubt is because of things like that. Mr. Share.
Tack, a quick recap. Christian Andreacchio, or Andreacchio, I don't know which one it is, I hear both. But he died, and apparently in his bathroom in his apartment. There are those who believe it was self-harm and those who believe it was murder. There are big questions on both sides, things that don't really add up. Basically, law enforcement didn't do a very thorough investigation, and there's a lot of discrepancies with everything. So we're just discussing it. And yeah, there are some people who think that I'm just all about it was murder and everything, and I do believe it was a murder, but I mean, you guys are welcome to change my mind. Don't just say
That
read
sounds
the case
like
file.
that sounds like the David Carradine case.
There's
Remember
a lot
that?
of cases like that. It's just brutal. Oh, hey Tammy.
David Carradine. You know who that was, right?
Hey,
That
Tammy.
sounds really familiar.
Oh, he's a Kung Fu from Kung Fu, the show in the 70s and 80s. David Carradine. Come on, the Kung Fu master.
Oh yeah.
They say he died with hung himself masturbating in a closet. Just like, what? That's pretty far fetched there.
Jim, what about the text message he sent prior to threatening suicide? Yeah,
Okay.
he did send some pretty nasty stuff. I mean, in hindsight, Christian, well, he was a young man. He wasn't
Right.
wasn't fully mature. He was very
He
young.
was really young. A lot of
And-
people have talked about suicide, though, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, talking about it and actually going through with it, two very different things. But
There's a
he did say
degradation.
some stuff like that. So yeah, it's a valid point.
Which
There's
would
been a
make it a
degradation.
perfect cover-up for them to use to kill him, which would be exactly why they know he's texting that stuff. They'd be like, well, we're just going to say it's suicide.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like somebody else had his phone?
Yeah, his girlfriend. The girlfriend he went to kick out of his apartment, but somehow that same day he left work to kick her cheating ass out is the same day that he supposedly commits suicide and makes her confess her love for him. That shit don't add up. He was about to kick her out and take his BMW back and everything. That bitch was going to be on her ass because she was a cheating whore.
Yeah, I believe
Well,
the
don't
same thing
sugarcoat it,
about my
honey.
sister-in-law. I believe my sister-in-law shot my brother in the mouth and then put the gun in his hand, wiped it down and put the gun in his hand.
Oh my God.
But there's no proving that. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same situation.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Like Ozark, that's a good point. There's gunshot residue there's 3 people there. There was his girlfriend Whitley, friend.
Oh no, what happened?
Oh, she must have hit the wrong button. And then Christian himself, and all 3 of them had gunshot residue on their hands. So that doesn't add up either. There's a lot of things that just, I mean, it doesn't matter if you say it's a murder or if you say it was suicide. There are things on both sides that it just doesn't quite add up.
I can't remember what movie it was, but that reminded me of a scene in the movie. I just saw this. He had a hole through his face, and it was smoking. And the cop said, it was a comedy. Cop said, "Yep, gunshot. There's gunshot there's bullet. There was a gunpowder residue on his face, for sure. Gunshot, but you could just it's an obvious gunshot.
See the giant hole."
Yeah, that was very funny. Yup, gunshot. Like you see a guy laying in 2 pieces, you're like, I think he was cut in half in some way.
Yeah, regular
Pretty
Columbo.
Oh, the best is you can use that as a juxtaposition where you lean into him and act like you're doing all these tests and everything.
Oh crap! Did my internet die?
Sorry.
Well, that was me.
Sorry about that.
Oh.
You lean in,
Fine.
act like you're doing all these scientific tests, and then you just look at everybody and say, "Yep, he's dead. Pretty sure he's dead."
Yeah, smart cookies. Have you got a fountain or something going in your background?
Oh, let me shut that. Yeah, it's yeah.
No, you don't have to. It's just I thought I can hear running water. Yeah, I'm gonna throw the link in the side chat again. Anyone wants to come in and give their 2 cents?
I got a whole ecosystem going on in here.
Hmm.
It's okay to turn it off for like a day. It doesn't fucking matter. But when it's on at all, even if it's at low, everything's at low capacity. It's noisy as fuck.
Hmm.
You got a filtration system pulling air in and out of the garage, and then you got a dechlorinator taking chlorine out of drinking water in a big vat, and then you got fan circulation system and a misting system going off at the same time on the inside of the tent, and you can hear all this shit at once. It's kind of annoying. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, it's all good, man. I can just hear that little bit of water. I'm like, is that on my end? I didn't know if it's some kind of weird
somebody
feedback.
taking a piss. I bought and built this whole system in anticipation for, of course, pot going legal, but it hasn't yet. So in the meantime, I got to learn and see what I'm doing. So I've been growing food like crazy in it, man. I've eaten out of it like 3 seasons already.
Nice. Well, there you go.
I'd like to be smoking out of it, but that's not the way it is.
Well, it'll happen, though. They're going to make it legal eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah.
We'll see. She's back.
Oh, she's back.
If I could turn back time, I would stop my router from crashing. I was black on the moon. Sorry, I don't know the rest of the words.
I think that was pretty bang on, actually.
This is exactly what she said.
Yeah, I think so. I couldn't make it out. How she's saying. Also, you don't know enough to form an opinion completely yet. I can see the arguments for both sides, and it frustrates me. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not definitive either way. And there has been, like, there's enough information that there was a hearing, and the judge recused the DA and appointed the Attorney General's office. Because there's people who are saying it was murder, people are saying it was suicide, and yeah, they definitely want more investigation, and I guess they dropped the ball, so the judge actually did something good. Jessica Lynn, you're not very late. We're just hitting some details, but
the big thing about that, like my brother's case, was it depended on the day and the time that it happened. It was a day and time. There was a lot of action going on. The police were really busy. You know, they seemed to be, my brother and sister-in-law seemed to be a pretty upstanding kind of system in the community. So the cops didn't fucking ask any questions. They knew they were going through troubles. They knew my brother was a hot ticket, like, you know, a loose cannon. He was. So it all fit together, and they didn't ask any questions, man. But he was way too smart to shoot himself. Way too smart. Yeah. So we all, I mean, the inside opinion with my family is that his wife, Christy, my sister-in-law, shot him in the mouth, and then wiped off the thing, because you can shoot yourself in the mouth, right? Wiped off the fucking gun and then just put it in his hand and called the police, screaming and crying. And then because she quickly auctioned off the whole farm and all his animals. And he had fucking animals, man, like fucking zebra, millions of dollars worth of exotic livestock, and they were auctioned off within a week.
Yeah, when money's involved, that's usually a pretty big matzo ball hanging out there. And that was another thing with this case, is they were very quickly inquiring about the insurance policy. His girlfriend and the friend, they were inquiring about that almost immediately. It's like, you don't want to grieve first.
Proper shock leaves you from that area for at least a half a week or a week. How long was it that they did it? Because sometimes you can be in panic mode and do it kind of early, and that's all you're thinking about. Sometimes,
yes, yeah, it could be that.
How long were they? How long was it before they started?
It wasn't long at all.
Looking into the insurance.
A couple of days that they were asking Christian's family about it.
No,
because apparently Whitley needed a vehicle. But yeah, it could be that it was just shock, and they were just she was young too. She was very young, so she could have been just unsure of what to do and all that. Hello, Ozark.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we hear you. There's some crackling, but we hear you.
Okay, maybe it'll clear up. I don't know. My internet sucks. Did the crackling go away any?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Also, I'm sorry, just typing in chat just drives me crazy. So the position of the gun, when they found his body, the gunshot was to his right temple, but he was draped over the bathtub, and the gun was on his left side, like wedged between him and the bathtub, kind of.
Yeah.
So if he's shot himself in his right temple, how the fuck did he do that with his left hand? It doesn't add up.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Oh, that's not right at all. That wouldn't have happened at all.
Right.
No. As soon as that bullet entered his brain, he would have lost consciousness and he would have dropped. If anything, the gun would have flown back from the recoil. It would not have gone forward and down. So there's no way.
You know what? I mean, I'm new to this, so I'm an outsider looking in. It's starting to sound like a cop did this, and the police department just totally covered it up, made this whole shit up.
No. Now we can't just go hating on cops.
I don't hate cops. I don't, but cops can do something.
I'm not a huge fan.
I come from a unique perspective because my dad, my uncle, both of my brothers, and 2 of my sons are in law enforcement. So
lots of cops.
I realize that I just get kind of like.
Just because good cops doesn't mean there ain't bad ones out there. There are
absolutely.
Some bad ones. Yeah.
I agree, 100 bazillion%. However, I just feel really gross about the fact that with the phone that the text messages were sent on, apparently you could go into those and change like the timestamps when messages were sent. Also, the fact that she had his phone in her purse. So this whole like sending text messages saying he's going to kill himself and all of these things.
Pocket?
And saying why don't you go and take all of my money out of my credit union? Even if he did ask for that to be done, why would he do that? Who before they kill themselves is worried about what their money is doing?
Well, maybe they were. I mean, I've had episodes before. This is probably doesn't count for anything, but I'm just putting 2 cents in here. When I didn't know that I had Asperger's syndrome, and I was like in extreme depression and shit, I put in a last will and testament because I planned on killing myself. But that never happened.
Yeah.
And everything cleared up, and I got better. But that happened. That was the thing.
Jessica, I don't think he held the gun with both hands. It would be very weird, like because he shot himself in the right temple. It wasn't like under his chin or anything. So to use both hands, like that would be weird. Not impossible, I guess, but. And it was a big gun. It was
totally.
a 45 caliber, I believe. a big gun. So, and there's a lot of controversy on whether or not the gun was actually decocked when the police found it. I've been looking in, like, I've got a bunch of case files, and
You said
I did
cock.
see. I said cock. I saw one point where it was written out that the gun was rendered safe and bagged, so that would mean it was emptied, decocked, and all that. So I'm not sure the gun was actually decocked. I don't know if that's a fact or if that's just something that got misconstrued along the way. But I don't have the Meridian police report. I would love that. And like the autopsy and any crime scene analysis, diagrams, photos. Like I'd love to see all that.
Another thing that stood out to me, and granted, like I said, I just heard about this case for the very first time last night. So I haven't had time to really dig in, but I do recall that when his friend, and I can't remember his friend's name, and I feel badly for that. Oh, Dylan. Okay, so they were at the police station. Dylan is being interviewed in one room, and Whitley is being interviewed in another room. And when they were asked, well, Dylan was talking about the fact that Christian had held this gun up to his head and was asking questions or saying, talking about threatening to kill himself before all this. And when Whitley was asked about it in a separate room, they asked her if he had ever talked about killing himself ever at any point. And she said, no, I don't think so. Mm-hmm. But apparently they were all together. So, they didn't get their story straight.
Yeah, man. If there's not been any prior talk of suicide is highly unlikely. There are those few really strong people that keep it to themselves, but usually they still, even if they do keep it to themselves, they put out signals. You know what I mean? Usually, just saying. And
Jessica Lynn, like not often. He didn't know. He did mention it.
Oh, he did mention it. Oh,
well, it was in the young man's rage kind of thing where his girlfriend was cheating on him, and he said, "I'll kill all three of us."
Hey.
Yeah. So it was not good. Like, it definitely could have been. It definitely could have been foreshadowing for suicide, but this wasn't. He didn't talk about it a lot. That's not true.
And everybody said, I mean, let's be real. Everybody's talked about killing themselves when they're younger. Yes. Out of fucking selfishness. When you grow out of that, though.
Yeah, he wasn't talking about. He wasn't talking about suicide and the fact that I'm really struggling and I don't know what to do. Maybe I should just end it all. He wasn't talking like that. It was out of rage. He was mad at her.
Like right now, I said to my wife,
it wasn't coming from depression from the looks of it,
I told my wife tonight, I'm making a fucking pina colada. But I didn't. I didn't.
Why not?
It was just all talk. Because, I don't want to end my life.
You just dropping threats with a pina colada?
Yeah. Don't make me make a pina colada.
I'm reading this here. This is a quote from Dr. Jonathan Arden. He says, rigor mortis is the stiffening of the muscles, which happens after death. We know this. The development of well-formed rigor mortis tells me that he had been in that position, unmoved, undisturbed, for at least several hours, which, if accurate, suggests that Christian may have already been dead when Dylan went to the credit union to empty Christian's bank account.
Yep. That's another thing, is someone in this chat was just saying the coroner said that Christian was warm.
Well,
There's no way Christian was warm by the time the coroner got there. No way.
No, I've taken care of a few dead bodies, and they go cold pretty quick.
Really quick.
Yeah.
If I'm an ex-criminal, and if I were to steal somebody's fucking money, and like if I was a murderer, that is, I would not even try to take their money until I knew for a fact they wouldn't be able to report it. The only way to be able to make sure of that is if they were dead. Right?
Makes sense.
Well, Phoenix Bird says he was very suicidal for 13 months prior, and he sent suicide texts with his ex-girlfriend as well.
Or
if he was talking about committing suicide with his ex as well, then yeah, that's definitely something that should be talked about. Do you have them, Phoenix? Do you have the texts? Because I'd like to see them. How come he tried to drown himself? How do you drown yourself? No.
You think if you were going to be a criminal, you'd want to go the extra mile and be like a criminal mastermind. Don't just kill people. Do it in a creative way, right? Like drown them in a thing of ice cream, like some kind of Batman cartoon or something. Like something good and fun. Like, if you're going to prison, so you better make it fucking big, or it's just no fun. The only people I can think of that had that in mind were like people like Charles Bronson. No one does things like that anymore. It tries to make a big mockery of if you're going to go to jail, you better do it creatively, or no one's going to know who you are. But don't go to jail. Don't do anything wrong. That's dumb. I'm an idiot. Sorry for interrupting.
All good.
And don't kill people. Killing people is lame. Steal like a bunch of diamonds. That's cooler.
Yeah. Dylan had 52,000.
I just think that the thing that bothers me more than anything else about this case is the position of the gun.
Yeah. And there's a lot of debate on the rigor. One doctor says he had rigor, one doctor said he didn't go into rigor yet. It's like, okay, Phoenix Bird, by all means come up and educate me.
Yeah.
Read out the case file. Come on up.
Phoenix Bird.
That's why we do these streams, is to learn things. I keep inviting you people up, but all you do is say you got to read the case file. I did read a bunch of the case file, and I'm even more convinced it was murder.
I love when people talk.
Oh, that was
Thanks,
a warning. You fucking be kind in the chat, or Tammy's gonna whip your ass. You pull your little fucking pants down. Whip that fucking little ass.
Go Tammy.
Yeah, I'm all for people, like, we can debate and argue. Just be civil, and it's all good.
Seems like he was being civil to me. Yeah, if you ask me, but I'm an asshole. You got to do really bad things for me. Be surprised. It's like, oh, he stuffed corn in his butthole. That's too much.
Phoenix Bird, come up here and educate us if you know it so well. Come on up.
Oh,
should you drop the link again?
I've been dropping the link. If all you can say is you got to read the case file.
Oh, there you go.
Somebody reprimanded him.
Like, literally, if all you can say is learn the case, read the case file, then you're not providing anything of value. By all means, come on up and explain. Because the stuff that I've read, it doesn't make sense.
No.
Why did Whitley not say Christian talked about suicide when you guys can't stop saying that he was suicidal for 13 months? Why didn't Whitley say that to the police? It does not make sense. And by the way, he wasn't saying, Phoenix Bird isn't saying anything bad, so don't time him out. This is why I don't like getting 100 mods in here. Unless he's calling names or anything, don't.
He deserved to be turned up.
No.
I
What-
didn't
he-
see
all he
anything
was
that
doing, he
said-
was just debating.
He wasn't calling anybody names or doing anything weird. He was just
No,
talking.
he said we got to learn the case file.
Somebody doesn't like him. Somebody doesn't like him very much. that's
Well, yeah, obviously people like that aren't going to be well liked when they go against the
right.
grain.
No, for
but I mean,
sure.
I'd much rather have them come up here and explain their side.
I hate fucking people like that. They're like, "Oh man, I fucking want some vanilla ice cream." It's like, vanilla's for gay guys. I'm a fucking tapioca dude. And you just think to yourself, tapioca is so pretentious, but you don't say it. Not like he.
I do love me some tapioca. Hey, checking convictions. I don't know much about this case. My question is, I know you said he supposedly shot himself in the head. Did the bullet go straight in? From a downer angle or up angle, fairly straight. Yeah, I think it exited.
And the shell was in the
wanna say
bathtub.
and the bullet was too, I think. But I want to say it exited below his left ear. I might be wrong about that. I can't remember, but the bullet went through. And that's another thing too. Is this was a 45 caliber round, very powerful pistol. It went through his skull and then
Yeah.
bounced off the tub surround, which is plastic, and then bounced off the wall behind him, and then came back into the tub.
But is he going to
That's
say...
crazier than the JFK bullet theory. Like, it doesn't add up to me. I wish the police would have done a more thorough investigation, because we're left with this stuff like, it's just like, what? How the hell did that happen? Like, I'm not a firearms expert, but I would think that if a 45 was fired point blank through someone's temple, it would go through that wall. It would go through the tub surround and through that wall.
Yeah.
I would think, but I could be wrong about that. But it seems like it's.
Well, I mean, I don't know about 45s, but I've had a 9mm in my house, like, go through my kid's hand, and a bunch of other shit in my kitchen went like through the cabinets and into my Tupperware and all kinds of shit.
Your kid shot himself in the hand?
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, he's an adult. Let's get that straight. My kids aren't playing with guns. I
pictured a 4-year-old being like, "Look at this."
He's an adult.
What a dumbass.
Yeah. No, he was 19
but
when it happened.
in that moment.
Yeah. And I will tell you this too. If I were sleeping as Whitley was, and I guess she was, she had taken some Xanax or something, so she may have slept through it. I don't know, but gunfire inside a house is pretty fucking loud.
There's no way she slept through that.
That's another thing. She slept through that, but when Dylan got home and found Christian supposedly and yelled for her, she woke up.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't. And you know what else is weird? How come no one called it in? No one reported a gunshot? Like that would have been very, very loud. Like everybody within 2 blocks would have heard that for sure. No one called it in? It's weird.
Yeah, well, and this is an apartment building, so there's going to be people living on either side, you'd think, and surely someone heard it.
Don't forget.
It was during the day, so maybe most people were gone, but still.
The cop who ran the show lived in that apartment building. The cop who wrapped it up and said, "This is suicide, wrap it up." He was living in the same apartment building as Christian and Whitley. Don't forget that. Also, a man's not going to go home and make his girlfriend, like, say that she's in love with him and then say, "Okay, well, I'm going to go commit suicide, but I'm going to go do it in the bathtub so I don't make a mess." In murder cases, it's women who don't want to mess to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jessica Lynn, I disagree.
That's a good point.
In her system, she certainly could sleep.
Good night, everyone.
Okay. Well.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Dave. Yeah, Jessica, she very well could have slept through, but how did she wake up when Dylan screamed? Like, it can't be one or the other. It has to be both. Dylan should have had a hard time waking her up, right?
Mm.
There's a documentary called Culpable, and I don't know if you were talking about it earlier, but I think it's episode 14 or 13 or something or whatever it is, where there's actually a secret recording taken of the DA.
That's not what he said,
Chief
Jessica.
of police were in the room. Okay, and the DA said, so we all agree that it's a botch. That the investigation was botched.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually official from the actual current district attorney that the investigation was botched right from the very, very start in this case. And those of you that are in the chat that are actually listening, that they all like to say this and that's not in the case file. Well, I do want to actually state for the record that Dr. Arden's report is officially in the case file. So you can't just read all the other reports and ignore Dr. Arden's report.
Exactly. Jessica,
So
gunshots
Arden
outside.
got more experience.
Gunshots outside is very different. Yeah, your kids say your name, you jump up. You tell me if someone fired a gun in your house, you wouldn't wake up?
Right.
You know how loud a gun is?
I sure as fuck would.
Inside a building? It's deafening.
Me too.
I mean, this is like a dirty Harry gun, this thing. This is like a...
That was a 45. That was a very big gun. Like a 9mm is loud, but a 45.
And it's in a bathroom. I mean, the bathroom echoes just with our voice. Just imagine what it did with a gun.
Yeah, I'm
it
very
would have been like a bomb going off.
Yeah.
And I do know, like, the gunpowder residue, when they tested, both Dylan, all of them had it on their hands. And I know that Whitley had said that the reason she had it on her hands was the night before she had been out with friends shooting, like target practice shooting. And I get that, but I never did see an explanation for why Dylan had it on his hands. Did anybody else?
I never saw anything. I haven't read all of it, but
well, what
Dylan
was
had
Dylan not target practicing the day before?
Whitley had said that is why she had it on her hands, was the night before she had been target practicing with friends. So
yeah, I think Dylan was there. Dylan, Matt Miller, Whitley, and I think Dylan was target practicing with Jet Miller, Matt Miller, Dylan Whitley, and I think like one or two other people.
Okay, so that could explain why he had it on his hands then too. Mm-hmm. I just hadn't seen that before or heard.
Yeah.
Again, I had never even heard this kid's name until last night, so I'm big time virgin with this case.
Yeah, well,
nobody knows everything.
The actual, you got Matt Miller has made a very adamant statement right in the beginning, and he also did it on camera, where he actually clearly states that Whitley did not fire the gun the night before because she's terrified of guns.
Oh,
and now Matt has changed his tune.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to take back what he actually said, but it's actually a sworn statement that he's actually made, that first statement. So by trying to take that back now, he's in fear of perjury.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's one of the channels out there that has been very, very big on this case and very adamant against the Andreacchios right from the start. All the videos are gone off that channel as we speak, so I don't know what's going on with this case. There's something quite suspicious.
Yeah.
I had just seen that there's a big, huge lawsuit that was just put out against Christian's family.
Yeah, that
Like,
was
just
put
like-
out
Yeah.
right away for $47 million.
God,
Yeah.
what a number.
And
Holy
Whitley's
crap.
actually really struggling in real life right now. Like, she's struggling massively, as we all, like, sure, as you would well
Yeah.
and truly attest to. She's
Yeah,
like,
she
like
was
with all
arrested
sorts of-
right after Christmas.
yeah, you know, she's struggling, and Jet's been in and out of trouble, and he's just been charged with possession with intent. So there's, you know, either it's gone really downhill really fast for Whitley because of guilt, or it's gone downhill really, really fast because she can't handle the scrutiny. It's one or the other. It's sad. It's very sad. Either way, what has ever happened at Whitley right now, that's one thing I can attest to. Either way. But
You guys,
I sincerely believe there is a murder in this case, without a doubt, and it's definitely not a suicide
Good.
because, bullets don't ricochet.
I just gotta say this quick here.
Sorry,
Dave.
this bullet
Jenny,
didn't ricochet anywhere. It just ended up in a wall.
well, yeah, because it ended up in the tub. But Jenny, all
It ended up in
three,
the
there
tub
was
via
that stuff was
the
undetermined.
wall.
That stuff was said undetermined in the report, Jenny. It wasn't only two of them. It was all three of them had the same. I literally just read that the other day.
Yep.
That's
You
a
know,
good
like
question,
almost like he was
Vanessa.
sitting on the toilet when he passed originally. That's the position he would have been sitting, I believe, would have been in the toilet. I mean, even if it was a struggle, and Whitley was trying to get the gun off him because he was trying to actually hurt himself, okay, why wouldn't you tell the truth if that was the actual case and that's what happened? Why wouldn't you? Like, I could see that actually happening. It being an absolute accident, like a sheer
That is a
accident.
possibility.
But
no.
placing.
Okay, Janessa's asking a
But
question.
what I'm saying is, it is.
How
a
much Xanax
possibility.
did she have in her system? Does anybody know that? I don't think she was given a blood test, was she?
I don't know the official amount.
I don't think she was given a blood test.
Yeah, I don't know the official amount because I just know it was her. Just her and Dylan admitted that they had done it. So I don't remember seeing reports of what it was through. Yeah, I don't think she had a blood test. I'm gonna ask.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I didn't see anything about that.
it's just a little bit.
There's just a lot that doesn't add up.
No. And by the investigators officially, I mean the DA and the chief officially saying that the investigation was botched right from the very, very start.
Mhm.
It's a true testament to the actual investigation itself.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully in a few months' time, we'll actually have a result of what's actually going to come of this case.
Yeah, hopefully. Maybe we'll get some more answers at least.
Yep. Alrighty, well,
I
I'm going to
agree,
head back to
Janessa.
work. I just wanted to remind you about that culpable podcast that the audio is actually on it. It's quite fascinating and amazing. And congratulations.
I will
to
check
you,
that
by
out
the
for
way.
sure.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
The culpable, they
worries
still
at all.
have
I haven't had a
that.
chance
They still got that reward. I know they did have that. I don't know if that's
I'm not
still up.
sure. I'm not sure, but I do know that it was an amazing. Just that one episode that I listened to was just like groundbreaking. Even Mark Gillespie's in it at the beginning of this actual episode.
Oh,
So,
okay, yeah.
It's quite intriguing.
Yeah, you'll have to have him on, babe.
Alrighty, well,
Oh, yeah.
okay, because Mark was heavily invested in the case as well, the Andreacchio case, before switching over to the Watts case. So
Yeah, it'd be nice
Alrighty.
to talk to him too.
I would I'm going to head off. I just wanted to just to say a quick hello and congratulations, you two, on your engagement.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks
Bye,
for coming
Dave.
in, too.
No worries. See you. Bye. Bye.
Later, bud.
I'm
Have you
probably
guys
fixing
seen-
to hop down too because I'm gonna lose my my battery's gonna die on my computer. But yeah, I just wanted to hop up and talk for a little bit about it because it's all so new to me because, like I said, it was just last night and I was watching Kendall Ray and she had done a couple of really good videos on this.
Mhm.
But I think the thing that bothers me more than anything else is the position that the gun was found in.
That's the big
It
one
makes
for me, too.
no sense, absolutely no sense to me whatsoever.
Kendall Ray is one of the people that Whitley is suing along with the Christian's family.
Oh, she's suing Kendall. Okay.
Yep, he's suing Kendall Ray, yeah, and another YouTuber, and then the Christian's family.
Interesting.
Soul Sister is asking, have you guys seen the photos of Christian's case released by Cassie? No. I swear I saw a photo of him in the tub once.
Yeah, I
where
did too.
I've seen the photos, and looking at that gun, I can't get that out of my head. Where the gun was on his left side, like pinned between him and the tub on his left side, like down kind of
like his thigh,
along his waist area or his upper thigh. Yeah, it's funky. Okay, well, I'm gonna hop down. This was fun.
Alrighty.
It's good to see you guys.
You too.
See you too.
Bye.
Bye,
Later.
Donna.
Annie, what if she goes into where he is, they fight with a gun and it goes off, possibility, accidental shooting? Well, if that's what happened, why didn't they say that's what happened?
Then why didn't they say that exactly? Why would you lie and say you were sleeping through it instead? That's stupid.
Yeah. Physics doesn't have to make sense. Physics always has to make sense. That's why it's called physics. Sorry, that was kind of a jerk thing.
Facts.
Once you see them, you can't use them, and the gun was not where it should have been had he killed himself. That's true, yeah. Now, it's a 1 in a million chance that somehow his body jerked and the gun bounced and wound up there, but it is like billions to 1.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much more likely that the gun would have gone the other direction. Again, like, I can't say, I'm not one of those people who's going to stand up and say, I know 100% this happened. Because people who say that honestly bug me. Because nobody knows 100%. Like, none of us can say that we know 100% what happened. We can't. We can speculate, we have our gut instincts, and we have our theories, but we can't say for sure. And that's why I don't want, like, anybody who wants to come up and talk is welcome to. Like, if you think he committed suicide, by all means, you are welcome to come up and talk about it. This isn't the channel where I'm going to hammer my point and anyone who disagrees gets blocked or banned or anything. I don't do that.
Oops.
But I do understand some people saying that it was a suicide because there is, there are things that suggest Christian was, a bit of a hothead. He was kind of quick to go there, and he did mention dying more than once. So, I mean, that's definitely part of it. Can't just throw that out. Oh, come on, soul sister. Nobody's irritating. We're all just sitting here chatting true crime. Not here to irritate anybody. Harley's Diners Rides. God, that's hard to say. What's up, dude? Thank you very much. Anybody else out there have any insights that they'd like to come up and share? Or if you have any questions about it? If I knew about it, I would. I'm not quite about injustice, corruption. Yeah. Rabid Dog. Well, there's a guy I haven't seen in a while. How you doing, man? Yeah, it is. Seems like they all are. But he wanted her out of his house. Dylan tried to get loads of money out of his account. None of it makes sense. Yeah. Like that. That's the whole thing. Like, okay. Let's just say that Christian was hippie digits. Let's just say that Christian was he was threatening to kill himself. And you are, okay, you're in there and you're seeing your friend holding a gun to his head, okay? You eventually talk him down, you take the gun away and you hide it. Then, what, an hour or two later, he asks you to go clear out his account. You're his friend. He was just holding a gun to his head and he told you to go clear out his account. Would you do it? Or would you call the police? Literally, all the friends I have, if I ever saw them doing that and then they gave me their bank card and said, hey, go get all my money, I would not do it.
Right?
Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Dylan. It doesn't make sense. I thought, don't you say you love him so much now? So why didn't you get help for him, Dylan?
Yeah, obviously he was in a bad way. If
I love you, Nelly.
even that whole story, I mean, using that narrative, it still doesn't make sense.
You
Thanks,
go
Nelly.
empty his bank account instead of going to get help or calling his mom. Are you kidding me? You had no problem going to his grandfather after Christian committed suicide, supposedly, and asking about when the life insurance money would come through so Whitley could get a car. So how come you didn't feel comfortable enough to go to his grandpa to say he was going to kill himself?
And that's another thing, too. They kept referring to that BMW as Whitley's car. So why would she need money for a car? What's the right story? Like, there's so many... It doesn't even add up.
How does a girl with no job and no money living off her boyfriend have a BMW? It was Christian's car.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they were stupid kids out of their league. When things happened, they had no idea what to do. I don't think Dylan was that good of a friend. Annie, no, I think Dylan was Whitley's friend more than anything.
Yeah, Dylan and Whitley were hooking up. Dylan and Whitley were childhood friends. I said it straight to them. They didn't deny it. I asked Dylan how many turns he had on Doorknob Whitley.
God. Yeah, Cher doesn't pull any punches. Yeah, I don't think those ones that were disagreeing are still here, but I'd love to hear them explain that. Oh, hey, Lauren. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lauren.
Apollo walking. Why was suicide automatic in the 911 call? Well, for that to be their story, that would make sense. Like if you were to come home and you find guy dead in the tub, you wouldn't think, oh my God, my other friend killed him. You would think suicide off the bat, but then again, maybe not.
Okay,
can't really assume anything.
I have a theory for that, Sarah Gray. I have a theory for that because that also doesn't make sense. Why Christian wouldn't drive his own car home then, right? I really think it was Dylan and Whitley's plan to go back and take that car. I mean, they were so sure they were so set on Whitley needed a car.
Yeah. Well, that, as far as I knew, the plan was he was going to take the BMW back, but I was in the chat with you, and anyone who was against Dylan was asked not to be so rude, and they were picked on by every one of her followers. Yeah, and honestly, that kind of happened in this chat. People were saying things that weren't exactly respectful, but they weren't mean or rude. They weren't name calling, and they were still getting timed out. So, I mean, that's going to happen. As soon as you ask a question that goes against the narrative, people are going to block you or time you out. And I don't like that. That's why I'm really not into all the mods. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest coming up on here right now, Mr. Rabbit Dog.
Rabbit.
Hey guys, how are you?
Buddy. Hey, Rabbit.
Hey Cher. Hey Mr. Cher.
Hey buddy.
Yeah, this case is, like I said in the chat, an absolute rabbit hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
I missed the start of the show. I'm presuming that you guys are quite skeptical about the actual suicide, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I obviously had a back and forth with Kay on the case, and I did say that I am 50-50 in some respect, like 50-50 in terms of whether it was a straight out suicide or whether there was some kind of shenanigans that led to the firing of that gun. But I definitely don't think that this was a homicide.
Okay.
I don't think there was any plan behind anything.
Alrighty. And look at that. You see? Two differing opinions. And we haven't killed each other. Oh, thank you, Emma.
We can do that.
Thank you very much, Amy. Yeah, Cher and I are well, she's like dead set it was murder. I'm kind of leaning that way. I do think that there are things on either side that don't add up fully. But yeah, I would say if I had to pick something, I would pick murder over suicide for sure.
And this is the thing, there are irregularities that you have to acknowledge. Things at the crime scene or the death scene. The fact that you can't ignore the fact that it does look on the surface like the position of his body doesn't really make sense when you look at, you know, the fact that there's no, to me, I don't see any blood splatter on the left hand side where it should be. Yeah. The fact that what appears to be a bullet hole, it might not be a ricochet bullet hole on the left hand side on the wall, doesn't make sense where his body is.
And where the gun doesn't make sense.
The fact that the gun is on the left hand side under his thigh there's just no way that the gun would fall into that position if that's where he was when he shot himself. You have to accept that the only explanation is that the gun was accidentally moved there, maybe through Whitley, running up, or Dylan running up and just accidentally kicking the gun over to that side. That's possible, right?
Mm.
I think the problem is that you have to explain all these little things away for it to make sense that it was just a straight suicide and he was in that position when he shot himself. I tend to believe that he shot himself on the toilet, sitting on the toilet, and that makes sense for where the bullet hole is. It's a tough one as well, but you also have to acknowledge as well that he was undoubtedly suicidal. If you read,
he did make a few remarks. Yeah, he did.
He made a few remarks in the conversation that he was having with Whitley the night before. He was on the edge. Something was going to happen, and he was sounding quite threatening as well, to Whitley, like saying things like, well, let's just both, end it, kill each other. And the fact that...
Do you have, by chance, their text from the night before? Because I'd like to see those. I don't have those.
Yeah, I've got them. I don't know if I could pull them up right now.
Anytime.
Yeah, I could send them through to you. But I think what's absolutely clear is that he was besotted with Whitley. He was absolutely in love with Whitley, and she was falling away through his fingers. And he realised that she was messing about.
I disagree.
With Matt Miller. Okay.
I disagree. Well, she was also messing around with Dylan, but I disagree. I think he was madly in love, and that everyone, his entire family, including people who married into the family, really thought he was going to be getting back together with his ex that he was with for 5 years.
His family hoped that he would, but he was besotted with Whitley at that point.
Well, he had to have been, because, I mean, she was unfaithful before as well. So
yeah, but I think he
kept with her because I think was, he was young and dumb. He didn't want to admit that the relationship wasn't going to work.
Have you seen the conversation, Cher, that he was having with Whitley the night before?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was the night before, but I've seen several text conversations leading up to the murder between them, and I don't like the games I've seen Whitley playing. Whitley was very manipulative. I see Whitley as a lot of men I used to date.
Well, you could argue that Christian was being quite manipulative towards Whitley as well, though, because he was incredibly intense towards her, and there was a finality in the text messages that he was sending her, putting incredible pressure on her. And I think he pushed her away in a sense. Like, I kind of agree, Cher, that Whitley, she was messing about. She wasn't, she wasn't behaving very well. Oh, what's going on? Sorry.
Just had to switch. Continue.
Yeah, so I think if you read the conversations from the night before, I think he had started to realise that he was losing Whitley. She just wasn't interested anymore. You can say that she was using him in some way. You know, it was beneficial for her to be with him financially. You know, the use of the car. She had a good number there. But she was moving away from him, and he had invested in her. I think he still had love for the ex that you mentioned before, and in some way he was comparing her to his ex, and he wanted her to be, you know, on the same level in some sense, you know.
But I would put, like, if he was, like, he was an immature, like, he's 21 and she was 17, so they were both, you know, very young and not fully developed, not fully mature. So I'd say, like, I've seen some nasty stuff Whitley posted on her own Twitter where she was like mocking him.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, like, I can't say that I would be friends with any of these people. But
yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, there was a lot of cruelty going on and a lot of toxicity going on.
Yeah, and that's where, you know, I can see people would chalk up Christians' aggressive behavior as that, but it could have been. I can't say that it couldn't have been a legit threat of suicide. Like I know people who have killed themselves, and the way they talked, it wasn't angry, it wasn't aggressive. But that's not to say that Christian wasn't legitimately suicidal. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's weird stuff. Like the gun placement, there was blood pooling on the back of his calves, which if he died kneeling at the tub, that's impossible. Like the body was moved after he died, but why? Like
it looks like it was moved. But it's possible it wasn't, right?
Why would he go and shoot himself over the bathtub, though? If it's that serious and he's in the heat of the moment and he's going to kill himself and he's proven something, he said, "Follow me upstairs to the bathroom. I'm going to do this over the bathtub." He worried about keeping everything nice and clean.
Yeah, that's not usually a thought people who are suicidal have. But
no, but that's statistically women who kill their loved ones don't want to clean it up.
They do it in the bathroom. That's true. Yeah.
They either poison them so there's no mess, or yes, they do it like where it's easy cleanup. Women do not like messy deaths. It's statistics. It's proven. Christian isn't going to say, "I'm going to go shoot myself and kill myself but follow me upstairs to the bathtub."
But why would he? Why do you think he would be asking them to follow him up to the bathroom, though?
Well, you wouldn't.
He wouldn't, right?
He would have just done it there in like.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I feel like if it was that big a deal, he was going to shoot himself right in front of them because he wanted to hurt Whitley that bad, right? So he's going to shoot himself right there on the spot in front of these people, right? Not walk up to the bathroom and worry about doing it over a bathtub.
I agree. It's most likely he would have shot himself in front of her, you know, for the kind of dramaticness of it, right?
Right.
Because my suspicion is that perhaps they were both in that room in the bathroom when he shot himself, and I do agree it looks like the body was moved. But if that's not the case and his body fell in that position, he would have to be he'd have to be facing the bath. And I agree. It doesn't really make sense on the surface. I
would say probably most cases, if we were to look at, like, pick any case and really sift through the details, there's going to be things that don't really make sense.
That's the thing. It's like there's always anomalies. You know, it's like 9/11 happens and a passport somehow makes its way from one of the planes and is found on ground level. How does that happen?
Can
There's
I
always
ask you
little
something,
anomalies.
Rabbit?
Yeah.
So, no matter the situation, though, do you think that his mother and family deserve the backlash that they're getting simply because she's doing everything that she can to do what she thinks is justice for Christian, even if it was an accident and Christian ended up shot and they're just covering it up because they're young and dumb? Do you really think that Ray shouldn't be doing everything that she's doing?
I think she's entitled to push for the case to be opened and investigated further. I do. I've just not paid attention to as much of that side of things. You know, the kind of the behaviour that's gone on between the families. I know a lot of people have said that a lot of her behaviour has been a bit too much, right, and not right. You know, there's the fact that she's got Sheila Wozaki on side. I think she's capable of a lot of dodgy tactics. The fact that they essentially bribed one of Whitley's friends to say certain things about her, which she then backtracked on. Stuff like that I don't like. But in principle, law enforcement has to be held accountable by the public, right? And I think that a mother that's lost a child has a right to push it as far as possible until it's all avenues have been searched, right?
Right. So what do you think about one or two of the medical examiners who are famous, and one of them who I think Dave was talking about, that's the one who did like the Boston bombing and the big SARS outbreak in the 90s, right? And he's even saying the body was moved, it was a murder. So
well, this is the thing as well. Yeah, he is a renowned pathologist who came to the conclusion that it was homicide. But the problem is all these investigations are way after the fact, because I do think that the initial investigation was not done well. So there's when certain things are not investigated instantly at the time, there's only so much that you can do retrospectively. And I know that the argument on the other side is, well, you know, there was all these private investigations done. It went to the FBI, but they can't go back in time. There's only so much that they can investigate. That's the problem. And the thing with Jonathan Arden's report is he is basically going on photographs. And the argument is that, well, the lividity occurred after the fact, because after he was transported, right? And that wasn't reported at the scene. We don't know that. And it's just, it's hard to give it the weight that you would want to give it, right? I mean, I find it hard to believe that they would have transported his body in a crouched over position like that, because he was photographed in a crouched over position, you know, before the autopsy and things, right? And that makes it look like rigor mortis had set in. Because why? I can't figure out why they would transport him in that position, because that's the only way that would make sense. Because you would imagine the responders would put him on a stretcher in a dignified position, you know, straight out. But other people tell me, well, that's not really the case. Like, they will just, responders will just put them in the body bag in the position that they're found in. So I don't know what is commonplace there. I had assumed that they would naturally just put, you know, a victim in a straight out position.
Yeah, he would have been transported. He would, like, even if he did die hours before, he still wouldn't have been in full rigor. He still would have been laid flat.
That's what I presumed, yeah. But other people tell me that no, not, you know, that they're more likely
He would have had to have died like 12 hours prior for his body to be so stiff that they couldn't
be that
lay him
stiff.
flat. Yeah,
Yeah,
it takes a long time to stiffen up.
Yeah. So these are all the things that make it look suspicious, you know?
Full sister, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I saw something about some people wanting to come up, but yeah, as long as it stays respectful and everything, I'm totally fine with it. I mean, we got Rabbit Dog on here. He thinks it was more likely a suicide than a murder, and we're getting along just fine. Like, we're grown-ups here. But I wish I could see the crime scene or the death scene photos, because I did see the one where he was in the tub, but I didn't see any more of the bathroom. I saw one of the wall where there was like a little hole in the drywall.
Yeah.
But that's all I've seen. Like, if he was sitting on a toilet and shot himself towards that wall, then the bullet bouncing back would make sense.
Yeah.
But his body falling over and down doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You'd think he would have just fallen like right onto the floor or stayed sitting on the toilet.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't matter how I look at it, like something just seems so off.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that, the gun position, the fact that all three of them had gunshot residue on their hands. That was weird.
The gunshot residue thing is tricky. Yeah. And it's a lot of it is down to the wording, because apparently the only positive gunshot residue test was on Christian, on his palms, and on the back of his hands, the wording is that the gunshot residue particles that were found were indicative.
Yeah.
And
that was the weird thing, because all three of them had that indicative.
That's right.
But Christian had it on his palms. How does it get on your palms when you fire a gun?
Well, on the face of it, you would presume that it'd be more likely that the gunshot residue positive result would be on the back of his hands if you're firing a gun, or on the back of one hand. And you could argue that if it's on the palms, that could be more likely to be a defensive gesture. But the thing is, the way that you hold a gun on the inside of your thumb and the top of the forefinger there is described as being the palm. You know?
Oh, so if they were referring to that as the palm, that would make more sense.
Yeah.
But were they?
See, the thing is, I did have the theory that he was the one holding the gun. Like, I definitely think the gun was in his hand when it went off, but it's possible, I guess, that due to the fact that there was the gunshot residue on both Whitley and Dylan's hands, and the fact that the crime scene does, on the face of it, look like it's been tampered with, that maybe something went down and there was some fracas that led to him shooting himself, which could still leave Whitley being completely innocent, right? It just could be that something unfortunate happened. Maybe she was trying to stop him, trying to grab the gun off him, and then the gun went off, and there was a panic that took place. And it could be that even Dylan is completely unaware of what really went on, because he wasn't there, you know, by his own timeline. You know, he came back.
Well, yeah, I actually touched on that before you came in. Like, if he was legitimately suicidal, and Dylan was his friend, and everyone was concerned for him, to the point where they actually took his gun away, then a little while later, he asked Dylan to take all his money out of his bank account, and Dylan didn't find that strange. Like that's a major road bump for me. Like if my friend was holding a gun to his head and 2 hours later wanted me to clear out his bank account, I'd be calling the cops. I wouldn't be trying to take the money out of the bank account.
It seems strange, right? And
It's very
apparently, from Dylan's recollection and what he said in his statement, Christian asked him to take the money out on the drive back from the boat. But the problem I have is that he doesn't really seem to emphasize how strange this was, that
I
he
gotta
asked
stop
to do
you
that.
for a sec there though, because someone was just saying in the side chat that it was by a text from his phone, from Christian's phone. So I don't know. Somebody's full of it.
No, he says he asked him to take the money out on the drive back, but the text messages were coming from Christian's phone to Dylan.
Yeah.
At the time when he was at the
That's where
bank.
someone said.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where someone said that's when he asked him to take the money out, was by a text after Dylan had left. So yeah, I gotta go and read. I gotta read through that. There's a lot, but I gotta read through it all because there's. I don't know. People say it's in the case file, and then someone says, "Well, this is what happened," and it's like, well, who's right?
Yeah. Well, there's all these little things that are suspicious. The fact that, according to Christian's brother Josh, he found a notepad with Christian's bank details on it, apart from the PIN number, which was in Whitley's handwriting. And the fact that the fact that they couldn't get the money out was due to the PIN number. That looks suspicious.
Yeah.
The fact that Whitley had apparently been holding back some of the rent money for herself, and had used Western Union to transfer some of Christian's funds to herself, and Christian became aware of this just before this happened, right? So that looks suspicious on the face of it.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, everybody looks suspicious in this whole thing. All three of them. But yeah, I don't know. If there was a struggle and he was trying to stop him, why not say that? And why, when she was interviewed by the police officers, did she say he had never threatened to kill himself when he did just before that? Like, why not say that? Like, it doesn't
I
make
think
sense.
I think it could be explained just by the guilt that she was feeling, because as she said herself in the MBI report, she thinks that he killed himself because she was unfaithful. And I think that's most likely true. If you read the conversation from the night before,
Yeah, I want to.
there's no denying that he was suicidal. So I think whatever occurred was as a result of that. Whether it was a straightforward suicide in front of them on his own, or whether there was some kind of fracas which unfortunately led to the gun being fired, and then possibly some taking advantage of that fact with the bank withdrawal, or the attempt at trying to take his money out. That's possible. I don't, like, if I was to bet, I don't think that happened, but
Babe, I sent you an email.
Okay.
And no, soul sister, I'm not. I got your email. I forwarded it now to Mr. Scher, and no, I am not. And thank you.
Soul Sister is asking me, is this case info, or did I get this on my own? Like, what specifically do you mean?
Hey, Ashley. So, Rabbit, what do you think about the knife that went missing? The blood in the hallway leading up to the bathroom and the bloody knife that was found and turned in by Christian's family that went missing. They're saying, Whitley and Dylan are saying that Christian's family planted it because they had to clean up the crime scene. But even if that was true, why has it disappeared from the police evidence?
Yeah, I know. And the bloody shirt as well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
I could see the police actually accidentally losing that stuff because I read that. I read a thing at the start, near the start of the stream. Ray had set up an interview with the law enforcement, and it was her husband who showed up with a private investigator, and they were turned away
Mm-hmm.
because technically it wasn't Ray there. I thought that was in very poor taste by law enforcement, but I could see them trying, in an effort to cover their asses, they would do stuff like that and accidentally lose evidence. It's very, very possible.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this could just be explained by the fact that they just did not do a good job, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that there was a cover up in any sense.
I think they tried to cover their mistakes after the fact. Tried to hide what a shitty investigation they did. But at the time, they might have walked in and said, "Okay, dead guy in the tub, gun there. Yeah, he's got gunshot residue. Good enough, suicide."
Yeah,
But
there's a
I think
lot
they
of
should have
suspicious
investigated more.
suicides there. Yeah, they didn't think that this case would pick up like it did and get some traction on social media and on TV and stuff. So I think they thought they'd get away with this shitty police work.
Yeah, well, it is going to the grand jury, so I guess we'll see what happens with that. But like you said, Rabbit, you can only do so much this many years after the fact. But that doesn't stop people from banging on about the Chris Watts case either. So,
Well, there you go.
we're
And
going to keep on going no matter what.
and a lot of people would say, you know, how unfair this is, you know, for Whitley and Dylan to be harassed over this, you know, if they are entirely innocent, which I think they most likely are. But I would argue that that's the fault of the Meridian Police Department for not investigating it properly. I don't understand why there wasn't proper interrogations done at the time.
Do you think that the officer that controlled the situation and got to call the shots and called it a suicide, do you think he should have been the one even on the case at all when he lived there and had dealings with Whitley?
Yeah, the fact that he knew her was.
I think that was in poor taste.
That's a big red flag too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think that he should have made them aware of that fact, and someone else should have been investigating it if that was the case. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows?
But when you listen to the 911 call, there's no doubt that's genuine panic going on there, right? Now, that doesn't argue either way. That could still mean that an accident occurred and they're panicking, right?
Yeah, I didn't really agree when I've seen people pick apart the 911 call, saying she was being over the top and I think.
Yeah.
I think that was believable.
Even
if she did kill him, I think she instantly regretted it.
Right.
I'll say that much. But, But I don't know. But I do want to say, like, the people who are like vilifying Whitley, like, it's one thing to say that you think she did it or whatever, but I don't like this whole thing. It's just like the people who are like literally trying to hunt NK down. Like, I don't agree with that. I think, let the cops do their job. We can hash over the stuff and talk about it, but we really shouldn't be trying to directly interact with these people.
I agree.
I think that's going too far.
Yeah, I mean, just think about this: if she is entirely innocent, which she is in the law, and
According to the law, yeah.
according to the law, and I think she actually probably is completely innocent. Just imagine what she's gone through. Like, regardless of what you think about her character or the kind of person she was or the mistakes that she made, she has to live with this fact that, as she said herself, her actions led to him killing himself. That's a pretty heavy burden to bear for the rest of your life, you know. And then on top of that, to be having all these allegations coming at you, and the harassment from the Andreacchio family, who have a lot of pull, have a lot of money, and have a, you know, there's a lot that they can do. So that.
What about Whitley's own friends being afraid of her?
Yeah,
her own friends being afraid of her. I've actually spoken to one. She didn't want her name said, but my friend Carrie and I have spoken to one of her friends. Whitley stayed with her for a few days, actually, after this, and she said she's absolutely capable of murder and that she is afraid to say anything else and wouldn't actually even come on YouTube because she was afraid.
Are you talking about Dallas?
No.
That she stayed with right after? Oh, a different friend. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of her friends that no longer support her, right? Or have a lot of good things to say about her.
Yeah.
That's just
yeah. The whole thing's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you're saying though, Raven. Like,
I could see it being an accident.
If you look at this stuff and like, just say, like, take the Watts case. If you want to see that NK's guilty, you're gonna find stuff that makes her look guilty. If you want to see it was all Chris, you're gonna find stuff that says it was all Chris. So, like, unless you look at this like completely open, like, okay, what the hell actually happened, you're never going to get anywhere near an answer. And we probably never will get an answer because just like the Watts case, just like any other case, we are never given all of the information, ever.
Yeah.
Like, people think they have all of the Watts discovery. No. I guarantee you there's probably another 1,000 pages of documents that nobody ever saw except law enforcement.
Well, right, because everything's been redacted so many times. Of course we're not seeing it all.
Even before the redaction. People, like, this stuff was never and will never be shown to anybody except law enforcement. Like, the Freedom of Information Act is, I mean, it's there, but I don't believe the law enforcement follows it to the T either. I think they hide shit all the time. Soul Sister.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. Cher, why are you being so quiet?
I'm just being quiet.
Screaming about this case. Not screaming, but
I mellow her out.
She's that's good, but kind of. Yeah, you guys are good balance. So I had a question for you, Rabbit Dog. I was asking you in chat, and you asked me back.
Oh yeah.
What I was referring to. I was asking, have you researched the case on your own? Because I know you are on case panel a lot. So I wondered if it was her take on the case, or if it was, the way she presents it to you, that's how you've heard of most things, or have you reviewed everything yourself?
No, so I was interested in this case years ago through a few podcasts, and then Kay started to cover it recently, so that perked up my interest again. And then I've got the case file, and I've gone through the case file again, and I've listened to all the podcasts again, and I've actually disagreed with Kay on how I see the case.
I heard you do that.
Yeah, I've seen him disagree with him too.
I'm genuinely unsure on it, But I also acknowledge Kay's point as well, in terms of being careful at castigating real life people that are innocent in law. I think you've got to be careful and responsible about how you speak about a true crime case. I think there's a right and a wrong way to do it, right?
Yeah.
And I think we've all witnessed that with NK. I mean, some of the stuff that's been spoken about regarding NK has been ridiculous.
Yeah, if you really
Genuine
think about
harassment.
it, like if you just think for a second, what if she's innocent? Like her life has been like completely turned upside down. I'm not saying she is. I'm not saying she is innocent, but I'm saying what if she is, and how she's been hunted and badgered. And
I don't
treated by
care.
people.
She decided to mess with a married man to begin with, and yeah, well, whether she was there or not, like she put herself in the situation. So I don't feel bad for her no matter what, because to me, I feel like she knew no matter what.
But
Yeah, she's an
all
adulteress
she
anyway,
did,
but
all she did was have an affair with a guy. She had
I
no knowledge that he was a homicidal maniac. How many
disagree.
people have had or having affairs right now? It's just these things happen.
I tried to see it from that angle, Rabbit, but then I quickly changed my mind because there's just too much. You don't forget a 111-minute phone call. Same day your phone's pinging at his house. No, there's just no way.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't add up there.
That call was made while she drove there.
Right, that's one thing though. There's no other evidence other than going on that ping, or the fact that she can't remember a phone call.
No.
For the harassment that she's had online, there's
There's circumstantial evidence,
Yeah, like
not physical evidence. Is that what you
Yeah.
mean?
yes, yeah. There's lots of things that say she could very well have been involved, but there's nothing that says she definitely was.
Yeah, you might not be able to tie her down to say exactly where she was, at specific times that would prove that she wasn't there, I guess. So, yeah, you could argue that that's circumstantial, but there's no clear evidence.
Yeah, there's just a lot of things, and that, I think, like what Shara said, she did bring a lot of it on herself. I mean, first of all, being a whore, and then deleting all of her messages, and like she did a lot of shady stuff, maybe to protect herself or maybe just to distance herself from Chris, but it made her look bad.
But I think it's
But that doesn't-
understandable that she wanted to remove herself entirely from her being attached to this guy that had done this thing. To me, there's nothing suspicious about her just wanting to remove everything from her phone.
I've actually argued that, Rabbit. I've said it is possible that someone, because they used there was that other woman, can't remember what her name was, but she actually wore a wire to help police convict her husband.
Is this the Scott Peterson case?
Yeah,
Right.
I think it was that one. Yeah. So people are saying, well, why didn't she do that? And I said, well, I mean, not everyone reacts the same way, but it would have been a lot better. Like hindsight, had she turned over all the messages, presuming that there was nothing incriminating in there, she would have fared a lot better and probably wouldn't have been near as hated.
Yeah, I just think it's. I think a lot of people they're kind of projecting something onto her. Is her representing this vixen is going to come along and steal your man, and I think they just hate her for that as well, and I don't think it's warranted. I don't think she deserves it. she might have been acting morally out of line, but hundreds of thousands of other men and women are doing exactly the same thing. You know, they're just not unlucky enough to fall.
Yeah. But anyways, we've had some requests to get back to the Christian case. So yeah, that was my bad. Actually, I was the one that dragged it off to NK.
It all comes back to Chris Watts, right?
It really does. It's so hard to just set that case down. Yeah, does anyone in the chat have any notes about Christian Andreacchio? Oh, first off, is it Andreacchio or Andreacchio? Because someone was giving me crap and they never really did tell me.
Andreacchio.
I've heard it both, so it's Andreacchio?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm going to go with. Because I've heard it both ways.
Okay, do I sound robotic? Because all of you do, and I don't know if it must be me.
No, you sound fine.
Yeah,
and I just got your email.
Yeah.
Do you want to share that picture, babe, that I sent you from her? Or no?
I could, but like half of what was written there isn't, like, it gets cut off.
Mm.
I don't know if you sent me a screenshot or if you just...
Okay.
Hey, Ashley.
Rabbit, I had a question in the interim. Dylan, how do you think that Dylan ended up with gunshot residue on his hands if he wasn't at the infamous gun night?
Dylan. Well, Dylan wasn't at the gun night, was he? It was just Whitley.
As far as we know.
I don't think the residue would be there anyway after that length of time. So I don't think that's really even relevant. I mean, I understand why Whitley brought it up.
Rabbit, why do people keep saying Dylan wasn't there? How do we know Dylan wasn't there?
Because no one has said that he was there. I mean, I guess anything is possible. I guess he could be there, right? But I don't think anything rests upon it because there wouldn't be any gunshot residue still on their hands after that period of time anyway.
Oh, wow. Paula Walking, thank you very much.
Paula, you're awesome.
Oh, very sweet.
In terms of how you explain it, that could just be transfer, though.
From where? From where?
From handling Christian, or if they were in the actual, like, say if Whitley was in the room.
You're saying he handled Christian, possibly?
Possibly, or he was. It could be Whitley holding Christian's hand, right? I think Dylan mentions that Whitley held his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was laying on him on his hand. Yeah.
Yeah. So that could be transferred from Whitley to Dylan. It could just be from them being in the room and touching things. That's possible because it wasn't positive gunshot residue. There's like a scale that goes of how much gunshot residue was found, and there was obviously more on the palms of Christian, and there was less particles that were indicative on the rest of the results, right?
I'd love to hear a police officer explain that.
Me too.
Because it's so weird. Like, and not on their fingertips, right? On the backs of their hands.
Yeah.
It's just so odd. And I don't know if like they were checked, like if their faces were checked, if their clothes were checked. And there's so much that it seemed like there was so much that was missed when they investigated that.
That's the problem. Yeah,
there were so many unanswered questions.
There was no pictures taken.
Yeah, I think there was like one or two that I saw.
Like pictures of them. I mean, there was no pictures of Whitley and Dylan.
Yeah, no, and then someone was, I can't remember who was talking about. Whitley was on a lot of Xanax, but I don't think she was just given a blood test.
No.
So we know how much.
Yeah, we don't know.
There's so much that I'd like to go back in time and say, okay, you guys do your damn job.
There's one thing that I found suspicious to begin with is at the very start of the 911 call that Dylan says that there's been a suicide. I found that a bit suspicious for him to say that initially, because you would imagine that that's the last thing in the world you would want to believe. It sounds so final, you know, like my friend is committing suicide. You'd be hoping that he would still be okay and be revived or whatever. So for him to initially announce it as a suicide was suspicious to me to begin with, and I'm just wondering if that's a kind of common.
I don't know. You know, Rabbit Dog. I think there's no common reaction to being in that scene and calling 911.
I agree.
I don't think there's a right one or a wrong one. I do agree that it's, you know, I'm skeptical of how do you just assume that. Did he ask, you know, what happened to Whitley?
Yeah.
Well, he must have, right? Because
it's all we can only
Whitley was
assume.
already like up and screaming by the time he called, so they must have at least had some interaction before he called. How much, we don't know, but
about 2 hours.
Maybe.
Maybe. So that photo, I got that from the
Carol.
courthouse documentation that Casey Coleman released, and I'm gonna have to go back into Pacer and everything to pull it. It went along with her recusal from the case. That was one of the pieces of information she submitted at the last minute about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago.
What
and
was
then
the
she recused herself from the case, but she had to release a couple of pieces of evidence. She said she had forgotten a couple of things. And the photo is actually of, how do I word that? Like luminol testing.
Oh, yeah, for the blood. That's a good point, St. Ol's Fire. You would think he would say, my friend shot himself, not we've had a suicide. Like, it does seem weird to say that word.
Like a very comforting, self-comforting word.
But then again, that doesn't
phrase.
mean that it wasn't legit, too. Like, you never know what's going through someone's head when they're...
Yeah, it sounds so final, you know, like, yeah.
Like, yeah, honestly, if I had walked in and I opened the bathroom door and I see my friend like slumped over the tub, I'd be trying to revive him. I wouldn't leave him there.
And you'd be hoping that he would be revived as well by the EMTs, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't just like leave him there and go get the girlfriend. I'd be like screaming, calling 911 while I'm trying to revive him. But that's just me. I mean, that doesn't mean that that's how everyone's going to react.
Yeah, Prairie Boy, that goes along with the 911 operator not walking him through CPR or asking, is he breathing? You know, is he awake? Is he gone? Have you checked him? I didn't hear any of that.
That's a good point. Yeah. Why was someone alarmed?
And to me, that goes into the case not being handled properly in the beginning, and then I see a cover up after it wasn't handled in the beginning for various reasons, depending on who was covering.
And in terms of the luminol testing that you were talking about, Soul Sister, was that from Michael Knox?
It was from the Knox report, but it was what I was talking about was what Casey Coleman entered into the file a couple weeks ago before she recused herself, along with some ballistics.
Right.
That she had not released before and said she did not have.
Got you.
So have you seen it? You seem to know what I'm talking about.
I've seen the Michael Knox report, luminol testing that he did, and there was blood on the ceiling. On the ceiling above kind of the middle of the bathroom. There was also around where the what appears to be the bullet ricochet around there on the back of the door, I think.
Were we
I
saying
believe he
that
was stabbed in the car on his way home. I think he was stabbed right before getting to the house. And that he went right up to the bathroom. He was injured and stabbed and bleeding and went right up to the bathroom. And that's where they got him. There was blood leading up in the hall to the bathroom. There's blood all over that bathroom. That was a mess.
High Priestess Turo.
Did they even test that blood, Cher?
I have no idea.
High Priestess, I see what you're saying. Like, yeah, you take Xanax for anxiety or whatever, but it's one thing if you're taking it for a legit medical condition. It's another thing if you're an addict. And she has admitted to that. Like, she was taking much more than your average dose. Like, it is possible that she took so much that she wouldn't have heard the gunshot. That's possible.
You believe that?
No, I'm saying it's possible.
Okay. You really?
Is it possible to take enough?
Because
is it possible to take enough Xanax that you wouldn't wake up to a gunshot? Yes.
Okay.
Well,
that is possible. I'm not like I said, I'm not hammering my point home. I'm letting everybody explain their thing, and I will never say that I know 100% one way or the other because I don't. Nobody does.
I guess I've never overtaken a medication, so. But
she's an addict.
Oh, like you have a tolerance to it.
Oh yeah, I think you build up a tolerance to basically anything, but.
So
but the only thing about that is how did Dylan call down to her and wake her up?
Right.
After.
And
that
she
doesn't make sense.
Came to and
she didn't really seem all that
sedated
during the 911 call either.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't seem to be slurring or anything. So I don't know. I'm just spitballing with that because I don't know.
So, how do you share how?
That's
that high in the bathroom.
Almost fire. Oh, I'm sorry.
What was that?
How do you think that the gunshot or the blood from the gunshot ended up so high?
Hey, babe,
if he was
Ray
facing the bathtub, right?
Ray just texted. There was no drug test given to either.
Yeah, I don't think there was.
There was there wasn't. Ray confirmed that.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
St. Elmo's fire. I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. And that was the one thing that I found very odd about Christians, about that whole scene. There wasn't I understand that life isn't like a movie. Like you wouldn't have that amount of blood, but you should have been more than what was there. Like it seemed like there was not enough.
Yeah, if he shot himself in that position over the bath, you'd expect. I don't understand how there's not more blood splatter on the left-hand side of where
there should have been a lot there,
position.
Yeah.
I mean,
how is it up in the air or up in the ceiling when the projection? I don't want to get too detailed because I think I'm understanding who's listening, and I don't want to offend because I have deep respect and compassion. So I think I'm going to hop off. Okay? Because I don't want to disrespect her at all. And I'm not going to say anything that she probably wouldn't like, but I just don't want to. So.
Well, we've been saying things that I'm sure she didn't. Like we aren't all rallying for Christian here. I'm very open. Cher is hardcore for Christian. Rabbit Dog's a little bit leaning towards.
I don't think you've said anything that she would object to.
Yeah, we haven't been bashing anybody or.
No, it's been respectful debate.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good, because I don't go along with. Okay, good.
And
I don't go
no,
along
and
with the
I
bashing
like
of fate
knowing, like, I
and
think it's interesting
any of
knowing
that.
why people think it's a suicide, but I just don't believe it was. But it's interesting to hear Rabbit's side and why people believe that. It's just
Oh
not
yeah, I'd
what
much
I
rather
believe.
have someone come on here and explain things than just to say you need to read the case file.
Yeah.
Like, well, for God's sake.
I can actually hear
Yeah.
you this time, Robin.
Yeah, and you were mentioning the blood splatter on the ceiling as well.
All
Yeah,
right. Thanks, everyone. Oh, sorry.
I think there's a delay. If there's
Go
blood
ahead. I'm
splatter
sorry.
on the ceiling like that, then he would have to have been standing up when he shot when the gun was fired.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost like if he was
And
standing,
the other way too, right?
like if he was standing in front of the tub and turned and fired, it kind of makes sense that it would go upward, but I don't know.
Rabbit,
It's
I
still
think I
like,
heard you agree. Sorry, Prairie, go ahead.
oh, I was pretty much done. It's just I was trying to
I'm sorry.
get it in my head how this whole JFK bullet theory is gonna fit, but I just can't.
Yeah, what's it called? The Zipruder film from JFK. So, Rabbit, I think I heard, if I remember correctly, I heard you say pretty much emphatically that you don't believe, you believe there was some things done, and you didn't believe it was a suicide. I thought I heard that.
No, I believe it was a suicide. I do, but I don't see a homicide at all. But I acknowledge that it's possible that there was maybe a kind of fracas that took place that led to the gun firing, and that B, possibly there was some taking advantage of the fact, in terms of the bank.
After the fact?
After the fact.
Yeah, some poor choices after.
Poor choices. That's possible. I don't. If I was to bet, I just think it was most likely just a unfortunate suicide that was possibly done in front of maybe Whitley. If anything, I think Dylan wasn't there.
Wasn't there at all?
Wasn't there? I don't think so. But I can see the argument as to how it could be possible, but
High Priestess, you should come up here because I have also dabbled with that in the past. So I'm curious what you have to say, because I kind of don't want to be on Whitley's side, but when I tried, it really did knock me the fuck out. I could probably honestly have not woken up to a gunshot, and I don't want to give Whitley that, but I mean, it's true. But I wasn't supposed to be on it. I don't know. I also had not taken it for a long time, or I only tried it 2 or 3 times in my whole life, so I didn't take it like her. I would assume she probably had a tolerance to it and could take large doses though.
Hey, what's up, guys?
So I have someone. Hi.
Hey.
I have someone in my family share that
I'm gonna go out and smoke
overdose.
because my dad's sleeping and my daughter's trying to fall asleep. So just give me a second.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm prescribed Xanax because I'm a recovering addict. I'm going through a divorce, so yes, I'm prescribed Xanax for anxiety and antidepressants. Now listen to this. Before all this happened, yeah, I dabbled in shit. 8 milligrams. First off, 1 stick is 2 milligrams. So if you take 8 milligrams, that's 4 Xanax, right?
Right.
I don't care if there was a gunshot I will wake up immediately. You're not dozed off enough to. You have to be on like a crazy amount of Xanax to not hear that.
I
It
don't
would
know,
have to be
because
a
I would
lot.
feel like everyone's different, because I took just one of the 2 milligram bars and I was knocked the fuck out. I would sleep through gunshot in the house. I would.
Yeah,
And I don't want
because
to give Whitley that, but I would have. But I don't have a tolerance to it, or I never did when I took it. So I
you
was
don't,
out
and
like a light.
that's the point. You don't have a tolerance to
I
it.
mean, I don't really know if I would have woke up, but I could see how she would maybe not wake up, because I was out.
Whitley did tolerance to it.
Right. She had a tolerance, right? So I feel like, yeah, that's why I just kept quiet about it. But because I figured, yeah, I didn't really want to give her that, but yeah, she has a tolerance to it. And she sounded perfectly fine on the 911 call.
Yeah, she didn't sound very loopy or sedated. So who's to say?
Exactly.
I
Well,
don't
yeah,
know.
I had
on
a
8
family member
milligrams, you're not going to
overdose.
sound perfectly fine. You're going to sound dozed out and doped out.
Like you've got marbles in your mouth, or like you're just like whoa, whoa. I mean, my sister overdosed on it, and she survived that one. And I was there helping feed her charcoal at the hospital, but she was very alert. So, and she didn't have a tolerance to it. She took everything when she got it. So I agree, Cher. That I mean, medicine affects me. I can't take a muscle relaxer. I'm out for 2 days. One. So everybody's different. What's that?
Yeah, no.
Hey guys, sorry. I walked away from the Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's
Don't do
right. I saw
that.
you in there twice. I'm like, uh-oh, which one do I pick?
So the thing is, with the 911 call, she sounded normal. So that's what I'm saying, is like her tolerance is so high, she could have handled that 911 call and sounded normal.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
The reason why for you that you took one and couldn't handle it is because your tolerance is low. You don't take it like that.
Right.
So for her to hit 8 milligrams, I'm telling you guys right now, she heard those gunshots.
Yeah, and they weren't given drug tests. Maybe they didn't even have any Xanax that day. Maybe it was the day before. Like, I don't know. But Ray texted tonight a little bit ago and said there were no drug tests given to Dylan or Whitley.
She chose, and remember, Dylan was the dealer.
Yeah.
So why was he there?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, but she heard those gunshots and chose to ignore it.
Well, yeah, that's part of it. She was seen with Matt, and people told her she was sleeping with Dylan and Matt, and he was going home. I find it so weird that Dylan was the one who picked him up, because like everyone knows she was sleeping with Dylan as well.
Because trust me, I know people that
Christian knew it too.
I've known people in my past that taken way more than 8 milligrams and they functioned properly.
Like you don't go from, I get what you're saying, because you don't go from one state to the complete opposite that quick.
No, you don't. You don't.
If you're that out of it, you don't go to hysterics the next, if it all happened within that time, as they say.
And that's what I'm saying. She was of sound of mind. You know what I mean? She was not.
I feel like I would have been hella confused, and I wouldn't even think it was real life. So
like what's going on type thing. Yeah.
I think the adrenaline rush of coming across your boyfriend dead like that, I think that would override pretty much, any kind of
For me,
Yeah, I don't
it
know
was
how
a
it
little
works
bit of
with.
a setup. That was
Yeah.
crocodile tears because she heard those gunshots. She knew what was going on.
We don't know that though.
And like
you
Rabbit's point about the adrenaline, I don't know how that works with Xanax, but with morphine, if once your adrenaline pumps, that morphine's gone.
I'll
You
test
are
it.
fine.
I'll test the theory. How's that?
No, I can literally say
don't
that
do
that
that.
is legit with morphine, but
I'm not going to die over 8
I don't know
milligrams of
about
Xanax.
Xanax.
Don't
I'll have
know.
my husband shoot a gun in the other room. And
Disclaimer: we do
done.
not endorse that experiment.
I know you don't.
On this channel.
I know I won't do it. I won't. I won't do it.
It bothers me that she was on 8 milligrams and she said that she slept through it. That's what bothers
Wait,
me.
how do we know she said she was on 8 milligrams? Because I didn't hear that. Where did we get 8 milligrams from? So she took 4 bars?
Yeah.
How do we know that? Where did we hear that from? What's your name? Where are you from? Are you Willie's friend?
I'm from New York.
Did you happen to read that in chat?
No.
I was. So
because they were talking about gun residue.
Where did 8 milligrams come in? Because that's I've never heard that before.
I went to another creator who actually talked with Ray, the mother.
Huh.
So the girl.
How long have you followed this case for?
Only a little bit, not a long time. But she did a documentary with Ray, and the girl's doing a 12-step program and admitted what she was on. You guys could actually Google it and watch the full documentary.
Okay.
Are you talking about Kendall Ray?
What was that?
Are you referring to Kendall Ray's channel, the documentary she did?
Ray, the mom, yeah.
No, but Kendall Ray is a YouTube creator that did a big documentary on Christian.
I don't know Kendall, but
right.
I know she did. She flew out there to help Ray with the Andreacchio case.
Yeah, I think that's Kendall Ray.
So, yeah, I followed that, and Ray said it came out of Whitley's mouth that she, because she did the 12-step program to admit her wrongs and admitted to Ray that that's what she was on.
Was that on the vlogumentary?
Yeah, it was on the
that she went through a 12-step?
Yeah.
Weird, because she was just arrested.
That's what I watched
4 months ago on drug charges.
Yeah, and she.
Hello, Prairie.
She actually knows who murdered him and won't say.
Well, I mean,
you guys gotta watch this documentary, man. If I find it, I'm gonna send it to you. If you got like an email or something.
I've seen it.
Oh, you've seen it.
I just wanted to come and say hi real quick to Prairie.
Have you guys seen it?
I'm not sure if I've seen it.
Just wanted
Full Throttle.
to say hi and see that beautiful beard for a few moments. I'm coming for it again.
It's almost a year, man.
That's not allowed. No.
All right, guys.
It's gonna happen.
No.
I'm gonna log off because my daughter's sleeping, and I just wanted to elaborate on the whole prescription that
thank you.
Whitley
well,
was
thanks
on.
for your insight, High Priestess.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys having me on here.
Anytime.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
I really love her accent.
Me too. And if she's still listening, congratulations on your recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. That's no joke. So how you doing, Full Throttle?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Doing really well. Been busy.
How's that 1000cc bike treating you?
Great. That thing is awesome, man. I've been trying to make a video about it, but I haven't even had time to. So, I got it for a commuter. I take it to work every day.
Oh, really?
I'm not working on airplanes anymore.
yeah, you have to let that one go, huh?
Yeah, so I work for a motorcycle shop, and I sell motorcycle parts on eBay. We part bikes out.
Oh, yeah.
And it's right down the road from my house, so I can safely commute on a motorcycle.
Nice.
So yeah,
I'd love to commute on a motorcycle, but I don't think my Gixxer can pull my trailer.
Yeah,
fun to try,
I just carry a backpack. Backpack. That's it. But yeah, I just wanted to stop in real quick, say hello. It's been a little bit, so I'm still here, still around, still here in the background.
There you go. We gotta get an old school hangout.
Yeah. Well, I'll do it. I'll send it to you in advance, a couple days ahead of time.
Yeah, let me share it out and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely do that. But this is an interesting case, by the way. So awesome.
Yeah, it is. There's a few that are just, I don't know, they just tweak your brain.
Yeah. And everyone listening, make sure you share this out. So let's get them to that 10K mark.
For the petition?
Yeah,
oh, for
sub count.
Prairie Boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to unsub from everything, so I'll sub back. And funny story why I had to unsub from everything. I unsubscribed from things for different reasons, but I unsubbed because I was threatened by Dylan for saying that I did not have a, and I have proof of this, I'm not just saying it. He threatened me for not having a safe VPN.
Dylan's funny.
Because I dared disagree.
No,
man,
he's come to me too. He's funny. Just laugh at him.
I feel bad if anybody decides to hack my stuff, and they actually get into my computer and able to go through my stuff. I feel bad for them. There's stuff on there that I don't even want to see.
I have 75,000 unread emails. Can you imagine?
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna head to bed. So it was good talking with you.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
I'll definitely keep you posted.
Sounds good, dude. Thanks for coming in.
All right. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Oh yeah. Later.
Anita.
That was
so,
the
Robin,
guy
I
who
do want to clarify
pay everyone
something.
to make me shave my damn beard off last year.
No.
Cher's not having that. No way.
She does not want that.
No, she's not having it. Robin, I want to get something clarified with you, if I may.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm going to head out. It was said several times when you were present that Ray prescribed drugs to those kids. Not at that time. Many moons before that.
In the past, yeah.
Yeah. So that's, and I'm sorry that you were on that panel that degraded her. All right, I'm gonna head out. Thank you guys.
Good
All right,
night,
Soul
Soul Sister.
Have a
Thanks
good
for
night.
coming in, Soul Sister.
Sure. Bye.
Oh, thank you, Anita.
Thanks, Anita. Where you been, girl?
I think she just got here, too.
I hate Diet Cola. Great name.
Yeah. If I ever find your address, I'm going to send you a whole shitload of Diet Coke.
No, not tonight. Not tonight, Anita. But yeah, I want to hear all about it. All right.
I'm missing something.
No, I just haven't seen her for a while.
Oh, that's what she was saying. Okay. I get it now.
All right, guys, I'm going to hop off. This is a really, it's an interesting case, right?
Yeah, it definitely is.
But it's good to be able to talk about it in just a respectful way, regardless of opinions, I guess, you know.
Yeah, that was great. Actually, really enjoyed it. It's nice to be able to talk and ask some questions to each other and give some answers without name calling and all that other childish shit that always goes down.
I do especially like that we could be respectful to Christian's family at the same time as debating.
Jenny, I'd say absolutely it's possible, but
Mm-hmm.
it's highly unlikely that some YouTuber would be able to point out that they made a mistake.
All right, guys. Good night. Good night to everyone in
Good night,
the
Rabbit.
Later,
Rabbit.
Thanks for
See you
coming
guys
in, dude.
again. No, thanks for having me on.
Oh,
Talk
yeah.
to you guys later.
Later, bud.
Bye.
Rabbit dog. Man, I haven't
I
seen him in a
gotta
while.
go too.
Yeah, I think I'm going to cut this off pretty quick. It's been almost 2.5 hours, so hang with me for 4 more minutes.
Okay, you're cute. I'll give you 4 minutes.
She said I'm cute. Whoa, Soul Sister coming in with a super chat. Wow, thank you very much. A couple of y'all went just completely ham.
Aw, that's sweet, Soul Sister.
But thank you.
Babe, did you say coming in ham?
Yeah, she's coming in
Please
ham at
never say that
$24.99.
again.
What's that?
Don't say that anymore. It's weird.
Well, you might find it weird. You guys all know out in the YouTube land what going ham means.
Yeah, I know.
She's just got her mind in the damn gutter.
Is that
She
shit
can't stop
bussin'?
thinking about the hibbity-dibbity. This shit is bussin'. It's bussin'.
Bussin'.
Soul Sister, welcome to the team. Thank you very much. Got a couple members today. I think we got three more members. When is the big day? It is 2/22/22. Or we were going to talk about Chris Watts again. Harry,
Yay,
you
I
hush.
get the resub from Soul Sister. Ooh, ooh.
Nice. Some peeps need to find love because hot there. This was a great one. We had
It
a
was my
good
idea.
conversation. It was Cher's idea to do this. But I'm glad it did. And we'll be doing more about Christian. And we're going to do more about Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey as well. Because that's another case that is really just nuts. Come on, Prairie Boy, you are the voice of reasons. Yeah, I am. Was there more to that? I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, thanks for coming by.
Is anyone saying that? Is someone being mean to Anita? Or wait, I don't know. Or maybe I'm reading the comment wrong. I just read it like maybe someone was being mean to her.
Well, if there was, stop it. But I didn't see anything.
Stop it.
Yeah. I don't want that drama and shit on this channel. People can come in and voice their opinions. That's all fine. Just don't be a dick.
If you're a dick, you get timed out.
We timing out the dicks up in here. I'm retarded. All right. Time to go. Thank you all for coming. Thank you so much for all the new members and everybody who gave super chats. That was awesome. I was seriously blown away there. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming and hanging. It was great. Had a good chat, and we'll be doing it again. Take care, everyone.